technology. First we see that semiconductor. What is mean by semiconductor? We know that first semi, then conductor. Conductor means to conduct the electricity. Semi means it is in partially. That semiconductor means partially conducting and partially non-conducting. First, semiconductor materials having a silicon and germanium. Then silicon and germanium means it is called a pure form of a semiconductor. Otherwise it is known as an intrinsic semiconductor. Then suppose we can add the pure form of semiconductors. Something impurities can be added. That process is called a doping. That is, doping means always is known as an impurities adding. Suppose we can add the impurities means we can get an excess of electrons and excess of holes. Suppose we have the excess of electrons means that is called a p-type semiconductors. Then excess of excess of electrons means n-type semiconductor. Then excess of holes means that is called a p-type semiconductors. Is always is known as a donor semiconductor. Then acceptor semiconductor. Then next we go to see the properties. First one, the semiconductors lies between the conductors and insulators. Then second one is semiconductors is formed by this covalent bonds. It's almost semiconductors is empty in the conduction band and then filled in this valency band because all the free electrons are present in this valency band. Then empty in this conduction bands. When we increasing the temperature, from this electrons from the valency band then goes to this conduction bands, that only we conduct the electricity. Then they have the resistance means for the semiconductor 10 power minus 4 to 0.5 ohm meter. Then having the temperature positivity and negative, then we can increasing this conductivity of a semiconductor which by increasing the temperature. First usually at 0 Kelvin semiconductor act as an insulator. We can increasing the temperature, the semiconductor act as a conductors. From this diagram, this conductor there is no having a band gap because the valency bands number of free electrons are present. Then little more is conduction band, the electrons are present in that. For that semiconductor having a small amount of the band gap is between the valency band and the conduction band. The band gap energy should be is equal to 1 electron volt. The next one is insulator. Insulator means that having a band gap should be much larger than that of a semiconductor. Then this one is 1 electron volt, but in the insulator is plus 5 electrons volt. That is all the electrons are present in valency band. Then when we increasing the temperature or electric field, the no free electrons are goes to this conduction band. That's why we taken as an insulator. The next one, then semiconductor which are divided into two types. Then that is called an elemental and compound semiconductor. It is also otherwise is known as a direct and indirect band gap semiconductor. The semiconductor is the elemental, then semiconductor and compound semiconductor. The elemental semiconductor is always known as an indirect band gap. Then compound semiconductor is known as a direct band gap semiconductor. Then first following the properties of this elemental semiconductor and indirect semiconductor band gap semiconductor. Then elemental means it's having only a single element. It's the single elements are present in a fourth group elements. It is also known as an indirect band gaps. Then indirect band means which producing only an heat energy, not a light energy. That's why only using an elemental semiconductor or indirect band semiconductors. The lifetime of charge carriers is more due to indirect recombinations. Indirect recombinations it should be present as a trap motions. Suppose from this free electrons in that valency band, then holes in this conduction bands. The valency bands in this free electrons goes to this conduction bands. We are having as a trap motions which producing a not a photons which emissions of heat only. That's only we can use an indirect band gap semiconductors. The current applications having a much more amplifications. The lifetime of charge carriers is more due to this indirect recombinations. These are used for this only used for diode and transistor. This, for example, germanium and silicon. The germanium and silicon is a pure form of a direct, that is called a semiconductor. It is otherwise pure form is otherwise is known as an elemental semiconductor or otherwise is known as an indirect band gap semiconductors. The next one we can go to see that compound